It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond, and happy Independence Day weekend. It's time to meet Team 354 for Press Pass. Darien Harris, 5-year MSU linebacker, and he is co-captain of a college football playoff qualifier in 2015, also two-time Big Ten champion, and Spartan's new director of player engagement. And Darien, appreciate you making time in your busy schedule for this engagement.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, and kind of get to do the show from a new spot in the studio. It's fun to be over here. Got a nice little setup behind me, so I'm going to enjoy being over here. Now, I don't love being by you guys over there, but due to the times, we got to be safe. So glad we're following protocol, and I'm glad to be back on the show.
I've always said that Darien Harris could handle any assignment. He just deals with the plays as they unfold. This is another example of that. Also, want to welcome Graham Couch. He is a sports and more columnist for the Lansing State Journal, and he is co-host of Couch and the Rube. That's weekdays from 1 to 3 on the Spotlight Radio Network. Did you ever think you'd be writing about so many things other than ball sports?
No, although, I've enjoyed it. I have.
Yeah.
And I'm a very cyclical creature, and I don't miss football ever until August. So right now, this feels okay. It feels somewhat normal. We'll see how I feel in a month and a half.
You miss the NBA playoffs. That's
what I miss. I miss late-night Warriors games. That's what I miss. Although that would be over too now. So this would be the doldrums either way.
Do you think we're going to be doing this for a while? Do you think when we talk in November or December, you're still going to be writing about City Hall and hospitals?
I do, unfortunately. And it's not that I don't enjoy telling those stories, but I'd love to be talking about football too.
Well, it's always nice to have a mix, right?
Yeah, and look, this is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to expand what I was doing and tell the stories that matter a lot in our community. And there are things I've never been able to get to that I've wanted to get to because you get in the throes of a football and basketball season, and that's what drives us a lot. But, and so I'm enjoying that, and there's some opportunities. But I'm sports columnist for a reason. That's what I really, really love doing.
Yeah. One of my favorite columns I ever had a chance to write, Graham, I spent the night following the staff around at Sparrow Hospital on a Friday the 13th with all the violence, kids coming in and domestic assaults and all these things, and watching how the trauma unit really works. But I was really glad to go back and cover a game the next day.
And it wasn't a pandemic that you were doing.
It was not a pandemic.
That's a little different. Yeah.
And I knew when it was going to end. I knew there was a clock there, and I said, I'm out. We will be back in just a minute, and we're going to have our Going Green segment. We're going to talk about a surprise commitment. Surprise, at least in the timing. Imani Bates said that if he plays college basketball, he's going to do it here in East Lansing. We'll talk about that and much, much more on Press Pass.
We are MEA, a foundation of collective strength, an advocate for education. K-12 educators, support professionals, and higher education employees, united to support our students, our schools, and our community. Together, we are the shield protecting every student's right to succeed. Michigan Education Association. Champions for education.
Downtown Lansing is open for business.
Sawadee Ka, and welcome to Thai Village in downtown Lansing. We're now open Monday through Saturday for carryout, serving all your traditional Thai favorites, such as Pad Thai, Pad Pak, Peanut Curry, and Cow Pad.
Has staying at home cleaning and organizing made you realize how much extra junk you have laying around? Lansing Junk Removal is here for your residential and commercial cleanout needs. We're offering free virtual estimates and 20% off our no-contact pickup. Just call for a live video chat and an instant quote. With our no-contact pickup, you can place your junk outside your home and we'll come haul it away at a 20% discount. At Lansing Junk Removal, we want to keep Lansing out of the dumps. We recycle and donate 80 to 90% of the items we pick up. Click or call today for a free estimate and 20% off our no-contact junk removal service.
Fox 47 News.
The only station with local news weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. The only station with local news weeknights at 6:30.
The only station with a weather guarantee. Fox 47 News. Catch back-to-back episodes of Law & Order SVU Monday at 8 p.m. on My 47.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graf Chevrolet and Graf Nissan on West Grand River and Okemos. With 106 years in the automobile business, they'll take great care of you, as they have in all 7 of my leases and purchases. Go green, go Graf.
All right, Amani, the time has come. Where are you going to be playing college basketball?
I'm not sure what the future may hold, but as I do know right now, I will be committed to Michigan State University. I want to say thank you to Coach Iz and Coach OG for staying with me since I was a youngin', and just being there through the process, and all the MSU stuff.
All right, family Sparty. I like it. What was it about the program that made you want to go play in East Lansing and Michigan State?
They've been showing love to me since I was, in 7th grade, and they've been recruiting me hard since then. So I just know they're showing that they love is genuine, and they just been here for a long time. So I'm big on loyalty, and then they show me all loyalty. So I gotta show them love back.
Tom Izzo and Mike Garland getting some love from the highest ranked prospect ever from the state of Michigan. Graham Couch, you seem surprised by the timing of Monday's announcement, but unlike some other people with some basketball knowledge, you think there's a decent chance he's going to play some college basketball, could even play 2 seasons.
Well, yeah, it is possible that he'll play 2. For me, he seems like a kid who is intrigued by the possibility by college basketball, what that experience is like. And if you talk to some of the other guys who play in the NBA, who've gone through Michigan State recently, the Gary Harris's, Jaren Jacksons, Miles Bridges, how much they enjoyed that experience, and in 2 cases wish they had played another year. I do think he's a guy who has a good, partly because you look at the rules, as the rules are right now, the one and done is going to still be there. And if it is, then he's going to play somewhere, and I think he wants to play college basketball. There's also a really good chance he reclassifies.
Right.
So there's a chance he plays 2 years, because if he reclassifies and they don't change the rules, he can't even leave to the NBA until after what would be his sophomore year. Then I just think
he goes a G League route, which it doesn't look like he wants to do.
That doesn't seem like something. And the other thing is, you're going to have the name, image, and likeness thing go into play. He's going to have an opportunity to make money and be a real test case for that in East Lansing.
We are talking about the first sophomore ever to be the National Player of the Year. Darien Harris, you can't talk about specific recruits, but I want to talk about someone, whoever it might be, age 16. And to have the accolades that, you're talking about players are at really the exalted level. You talk about LeBron James, people making comparisons to Kevin Durant. What would it be like for a 16-year-old to have that kind of pressure?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, I think, for anybody that is in high school, or even looking at middle school, with the way that players are in this day and age maturing in terms of being these high-class, high-level players in any sport. And I think that's exciting. It gets exciting if you pair social media with it as well. These kids, no matter what sport it is, no matter how old they are, jumping on the map quick. There's famous people out there, professional athletes, celebrities, people like that are starting to take notice of these kids at younger and younger ages. And I think it does come with some level of pressure. But again, because I think these kids are in the national exposure and the national spotlight early on, I think they understand it and they embrace it. And that's, again, why we're seeing younger and younger kids getting these opportunities to be on the front of Sports Illustrated, be on ESPN, things like that. And it's exciting to see.
Graham, after a lot of near misses with players who wound up at Kansas or especially Duke, What did Tom Izzo and his staff get so right this time?
Well, if you look at a lot of those and the kids they've gotten and the kids they haven't, where are the kids from that they've gotten, right? In the state of Michigan. Miles Bridges in the state of Michigan. If you actually, Tom Izzo's fence around the state has been pretty good. Outside of
Gary Harris, Shannon Brown, Zach Randolph, a few others.
There have been a few, and it's really that 4-hour radius. But the kids he's lost have been kids in Chicago, which is an area that he did not recruit really after Shannon Brown until Jabari Parker. Yeah. And so, and you can't just dive back into that city. And he did that largely because the state of Michigan had dried up for a while, and that's come back in a big way in recent years. So I think he's done what he always did, going back to the days of Chris Webber, the way he worked at guys, the way he tried to introduce them to the culture that they were going to, let them see what they'd be a part of. Now he's just got a lot more to sell, and you've got a really talented kid who, you think about Amani Bates' age, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan State basketball, his whole cognitive life has been just such a huge deal.
Right.
And so for him, this is a blue blood.
When you think about what this means to a university, Darien, it says a lot about not just the program, but the athletic department and the university. Everybody gains on something like this, regardless of how much play or how many baskets are scored.
Yeah, I think so, and that's what we want to see. That's what I certainly want to see, and why I enjoy the job that I do. I want everyone to understand, recruits, parents, families, things like that it's got to be a two-way street. Yeah. Everybody should benefit out of a kid's opportunity to play at the next level, no matter where they decide to go. And so when that does happen, I think everybody has done their job well and everyone wins.
Max Christie, something could happen this week. He is #1 shooting guard in the country, #1 ranked player in Illinois, #11 in the nation. Rolling Meadows, Illinois. He might be joining the Spartans too. We'll be right back.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Wednesday.
Nothing's gonna stop me when I summon the beast.
Our newest competitors.
This is insane!
Are the craziest yet.
If he falls, it is over.
But sometimes the only way to win is to romance our biggest and baddest tagger.
She grabbed my flag, she grabbed my heart.
Are you proposing?
Whoa! Catch an all-new Ultimate Tag after MasterChef Wednesday on Fox, or watch anytime on Fox Now and Hulu.
Download the Fox 47 News app and stay connected everywhere you go.
Downtown Lansing is open for business.
Join us at the Nut House with 2 open-air patios and Friday happy hour 4 to 7 p.m. We even have a new menu coming soon, too. We're being diligent with following the CDC guidelines and invite you to stop in and see us.
This is me in a nutshell, Chef. So I have a Moroccan-style meatball, and like me, it's not your average meatball. You know, it's got a personality, so...
That's hot.
Look at that. Overcooked. Take these to those tables and apologize.
I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
Putting lamb in the convection oven?
Oh, you all right?
Okay?
You okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Look at where we are. All of you, get out!
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Take It to the Bank segment, brought to you by Dart Bank, dedicated to meeting the needs of our banking community for more than 90 years, with 4 convenient locations in Mason, Holton South Lansing, Grand Ledge, and the expanded Home Loan Center in Frandor. That's Dart Bank for what matters most.
You know, some people may think I'm overstating this, but to me, Darqueze Dennard was the closest pure cover corner I had seen since maybe Deion Sanders. And I know that's high praise, but Denard was a guy who opposing teams simply never wanted to throw at.
Intercepted. A falling down pick for guess who? Darqueze Denard.
If the no-fly zone was one of the chapters of the best defensive era for Michigan State football, then Darqueze Denard is one of the key authors of that chapter.
The no-fly zone is in effect.
That famed no-fly zone started with him. That 2013 defense is arguably probably top 2 or 3 defense in the Big Ten in this past decade, and he was the best player on it.
30 straight possessions. Michigan State's gone without giving up a touchdown. Throw is intercepted. They won't give up one there either. Darqueze Denard.
Darien Harris, you played with Quez. No question Michigan State does not beat Georgia in the Outback Bowl without him. He's the one who gave them the no-fly zone moniker and was the link to Rich Homie Quan. But why is he first team all decade in the Big Ten?
Well, I mean, I think that he's probably the best pure corner, maybe outside of Jeff Okudah that's come through the Big Ten in the last 10 years. I mean, the things that Quez was able to do were unquestionably spectacular. I mean, he was a 4.31 40 guy. Of course, the typical, mantra of a player from that time, under-recruited. We had to go down to Twiz County, Georgia to get him. But, he was a lockdown corner, he was a shutdown corner. And what made him even more special as a player is he loved to tackle. Yeah. He loved to come up in the box and hit. He loved to be physical. He loved to tackle. One of the best players that, of course, I've ever played with. And, I'm proud to be able to call him a friend, a mentor. And it's great to see him get that type of accolade.
Graham, Michigan State's only other first-team all-decade player, punter Mike Sadler. What stands out about Mike besides his amazing ability to place the ball, his acting ability on fakes, and his incredible sense of humor?
Yeah, I mean, his personality, I think, is what a lot of people remember him for. His junior year was phenomenal when he was healthy and the way he placed the ball as a punter. To me, the way I like to judge people is the way they treat people. And every interaction I had with Mike Sadler, the way he treated people, not only me, other people around him, he was a genuinely first-class human being, and not everybody in the world's like that, and that stood out.
Darien, Shalik Calhoun, it's hard to imagine a more impactful defensive end. There was a month where he was scoring as much as Michigan State's offense in 2013, but it took Joey Bosa and Chase Young to keep him off this first-team all-decade list.
Yeah, it did, and obviously not too bad options there. But if you think, if you look at a guy like Shalik, he's Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year, 3-time first-team All-Big Ten. He certainly deserved in some way to be on that list. I know, of course, it's tough to choose, only 4, is what they did with the D-line, and he made the second team. But I thought there was at least 4 or 5 no-brainer choices for first team for Michigan State. I think 2 of them made it. I think Shalik was another one, and the one that I'm baffled by is Jack Conklin.
Yeah.
How he's not a first team or even a second team member is he was the best offensive lineman, I think, in the Big Ten in the last 10 years.
Yeah, when you look at this list of the first and second teams, Ohio State has 16 players, Wisconsin 9, Iowa 8, Michigan 6, Penn State 4, Michigan State just 3, but 93 wins.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense given that 36-5 stretch. And Conklin is the one too. I mean, it really delegitimate.
He was the best player on those teams.
He's what makes it. He was what was so different about those teams from what they have now. I mean, there are other things too, but more than anything, that's the player you would take back.
And we have some recruiting news also. We have Jake Renda, and he was a quarterback at Notre Dame in Trenton, New Jersey. Now he's going to go down to IMG. He's going to be a tight end, big guy who can really run. He is now the 12th commitment in this class. Mel Tucker's first at Michigan State. We'll be right back.
At Team One, we're all about safety, savings, and service. For your safety, we continuously clean and sanitize the entire dealership, and every vehicle is washed and disinfected. You can also shop from home at TeamOneCharlotte.com. You'll save thousands at Team One with 0% financing for 84 months, including up to $8,500 on the new Equinox, and save up to $9,500 on a new 2020 Blazer. Team One will also deliver your vehicle to you at your convenience. How's that for service? Safety, savings, and service is what you get at Team One.
Your
Hi, I'm Deb Hart.
And I'm Bob Hoffman.
Have you checked out Fox 47 Morning News?
Every weekday morning while Julie and Claire get you caught up on news and weather, we catch up with some of the most interesting people in mid-Michigan on the Morning Blend.
It's your chance to find out what's happening in your own backyard and have a little fun along the way.
Local news, local weather, local people.
Weekdays, 7 to 9 a.m.
WWE superstar The Miz reminding you SmackDown is all new this Friday on Fox.
At Graf Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else, peace of mind. Every Graf used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at grafokemos.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graf Chevrolet in Okemos.
It's another fall Friday night, and your kids should be
playing high school football.
It's a fun game, and it's safer than ever.
It's safe because the rules, the coaching, and the equipment are better than ever before.
As a result, serious injuries are at an all-time low. Seriously.
And builds strong schools, lifetime memories, and tomorrow's community leaders.
And it's mother approved.
It's a great game, and we want to teach it to your kids.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for The Big Picture, brought to you by Dean Transportation. Dean is hiring caring and dependable people as school bus drivers in many Michigan markets. Be a hero in your community and safely transport children to and from school with Dean. For more information and to apply, visit deantransportation.com/jobs. That's deantransportation.com/jobs. Gentlemen, there you see the seating capacities for the University of Michigan's football, basketball, and hockey venues. A combined 128,408. The U.S. death toll from COVID-19 blew by that total this week and is now close to 132,000. That is more than the combined capacity of Spartan Stadium and Purdue's Ross-Ade Stadium, more than the combined seats in Wisconsin's Camp Randall Stadium and Minnesota's new TCF Bank Stadium, and more than double the capacity for Ford Field in Detroit. Darien, MSU's 2020 season opener against Northwestern scheduled for 2 months from today. How confident should we be that we're going to have college football in East Lansing this fall?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question, of course, to answer because none of us are experts and we're trying to siphon through all the information. So I think the best thing I could say is it's kind of a sports cliche that's typical, and you hear coaches and players say it all the time, is that we're going to control what we can control. And right now we're going to be ready for a season. We're going to do everything we can to be ready for a season. So we're going to act as if we are going to have a season. We're going to make sure that our players are ready to go and ready to play. As a staff, we're going to be ready to go and ready to play. And that's all we can do right now. And that's, I think, the best way to look at it. That's the way we're approaching this season with what we've come to know as neutral thinking. That's something we've been preaching as a team, and what we're learning through some different people that have come and talked to our team. Neutral thinking. So we're thinking about this in neutrality and living in the moment. Right now, we're kicking off the season against Northwestern, and right now our players are back on campus, and we're getting them ready to play some football.
They're going to stay engaged and see what happens. In the meantime, Graham, what would it mean to Mid-Michigan and to the nation if we do not have college football this fall, and maybe, if there's a vaccine, we could have a fairly normal 9-game season next spring, starting the Thursday of Final Four weekend on April 1st. The vast majority of teams would be done by May 30th. You'd have conference championship games for a few teams. After that, no bowls, but then you'd have 4 teams playing in the college football playoff that would end on June 22nd, and most players would have 12 weeks off before they would return for 2021.
Well, I don't think there is going to be a fall. I don't think it's looking good right now. And I think they're going to plan for it. I think you'll see in the next couple of weeks some real changes to the schedules. But beyond that, if they can't have one, I think they'll try to have one in the spring. Now, when it starts, I don't know if it'll start as late as April. But the financial ramifications of not having one at a place like Michigan State, you're talking about an $80 million chunk of your budget.
Yeah.
And there are some hard questions that are going to have to be asked about the way we fund athletics entirely, I think, after this. But you need football to do it. But I think, I'll say this, at a certain point, though, it comes down to the sort of the ethical question.
Yeah.
Would we be trying to do this if it wasn't for the money? And I think the answer is going to be no. Yeah. And that makes it really hard to play a season without a vaccine and put student athletes in harm's way. So the spring, I think, would be interesting. It would be a fun thing to do once. It would be weird. Some guys may not play or are big NFL prospects, but it would serve its purpose and it would be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. Darien, as someone who knows the pulse of the program and deals with all of these athletes on a daily basis, what are they thinking right now?
They want to play football. And I think that's something that is important. Again, everybody's got different reasons for wanting to play or maybe not wanting to play. But at the end of the day, you got to think of the seniors. You got to think of people coming up on their last year. You got to think of people that, and players in this instance, that haven't had an opportunity to play before, that with a new regime or coming up on their senior year, they're going to get an opportunity to play. And we've seen it. I'm sure you all have seen it way more than I have. Somebody gets that 1 year of greatness, goes on to then be able to play at the next level and be able to change their family financially. If they aren't able to play this season and haven't ever stepped on the field, there's no film for NFL scouts to evaluate them. So there's a lot of things that are coming into play, I think, personally, also for student athletes, not just in Michigan State, but across the country. And it's tough, difficult to say because I'm not in their position. I can only guide them as best as possible. But if I was, I'm sure I would feel the same as Dan, is that especially coming up on a senior year, I would want to play some football.
How many of those players would be okay with a delayed season if it meant 9 more months to come up with a vaccine?
I think that whatever gives them the best opportunity to play, get film for the next level, I think they'd be okay with that. So in that sense, I think that whatever allows them to play the season is what they're looking for.
Graham, you make a great point about follow the money, but if even one death is a tragedy, how many is too many to push ahead? No, really, if any student athlete just it happens, look at what happened with Maryland and the heat exhaustion death a couple years ago. If there's any student athletes whose lungs are ruined, that gets really ill, or anybody dies, that's it. That's it. We will be back in just a minute, and we're going to look at pro football, especially NFL team in Washington. Don't know if they're going to have the same nickname moving forward here in the next few weeks. We'll be back talking about that and much more on Press Pass.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
At Graff Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else, peace of mind. Every Graff used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at graffokemos.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graff Chevrolet in Okemos.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
The 3-Degree Guarantee, only on Fox 47 News.
Fresh from the gardens, Lansing Gardens. Our greenhouse is full of the freshest flowers in mid-Michigan. Lansing Gardens carries everything you need to get your home ready to enjoy, including potting soil, pots, anything you could possibly need to get your yard spring ready.
I have an idea. Ladies and gentlemen,
It's about time you knew how good your night is gonna be. Respect for women.
Let's roll. The time for talking is over. We have to fight back. Things are changing. I'm going to work.
Great.
You do have a head on your shoulders. It felt great to be empowered for once. I am nobody's property. You treat her with respect. And devotes every day to making your life a little better.
Lift the car off my kids 1. Lift the car off my kids 2. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Law of the Jungle segment, brought to you by Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, your healthy alternative to fast food. Eat Woody's and live longer. That's why I'm there every week. There you see a quote. This is from 2013, 7 years ago. We'll never change the name. It's that simple. Never. You can use caps. That is Daniel Snyder, owner of the Washington franchise, known as the Redskins to this date, but maybe not much longer. Graham Couch, you and I are not from Washington, and we don't have the black experience, but we're very fortunate to have someone with us who does, even if he is a Cowboys fan. Darien, did you think
bizarre, by the way. It's bizarre that you're from Washington and a Cowboys fan.
It is.
I'm just going to say that flat out. Okay.
Darien, did you think we'd ever get to this point where the head coach at Washington, the quarterback, and the stadium sponsor, Ron Rivera, Dwayne Haskins, and FedEx, would all want this change before the start of the season?
No, I didn't think we necessarily would get to that point, but I'm glad that we did, especially being a native Washingtonian. And, you know, I did grow up a Cowboys fan. I wouldn't call myself a Cowboys fan anymore. But part of the reason for growing up a Cowboys fan was because of the name. You know, that the name Redskins was considered incredibly offensive and considered a word that in my household we didn't use. You know, my dad made that very clear early on, as soon as I understood and knew what NFL football was and knew what professional teams were, is that, you know, if you're going to address them, you just call them Washington or the team in Washington. We're not going to use the term Redskins because it is offensive. So I'm glad that they're moving to this point. It's been a long time coming. I'm not sure why there was so much pushback to not make this happen. I understand tradition and things like that, but there has been, I think, plenty of evidence from Native Americans that have said that they don't like the use of this term, the use of this word. So I'm, glad that the people that are, I guess, the powers that be, in terms of the quarterback, the head coach, as well as sponsors. Right. You know, Nike pulled their memorabilia off their website as well, are making change. You know, if you want to make change, the quickest way to do that is with dollar signs and hitting people's pockets. So I think that Dan Snyder has finally heard that and is going to do the right thing.
Graham Couch, would this have happened without the George Floyd murder? And would the reaction to that have been the same without the forced hibernation from COVID-19?
No, I don't think it would happen now. I think it was bound to happen at some point. And you know, you look at the way COVID has impacted the protests and the marches and the ability, I think the sustainability of them, because we are cooped up. A lot of people aren't working. So it's maybe different than Ferguson and some other things years ago. But George Floyd was different too. And there was just no doubt. You couldn't rationalize it any which way. And so that to me is the larger driving force. COVID plays a role. And
we had dramatic video. We didn't have that.
And the fact that COVID, and you know, Ahmaud Arbery at the same time, that took so long. And the fact that COVID has impacted the black community so much more than it has white America. And then you have this on top of it. I think there were a number of factors.
We don't have the video of Breonna Taylor being shot 8 times.
Correct.
And so this does make a difference when you see the knee to the neck.
Yeah.
Darien, if we can do away with a racist nickname and confront our past in terms of statues and monuments, can statehood for Washington, D.C. be far behind?
Yeah, I mean, probably not. I mean, I think that that's something that could come next. I think that I agree with you. I think a lot of what's going on in this country is a product of the times we're in due to the virus, but maybe that's some of the positive that we can come from this time. So I know there has been clamoring for Washington, D.C. to officially become a state. We'll see if that happens, and we'll see what the stipulations of that are in terms of how it helps the communities that it be. Washington, D.C. is nicknamed Chocolate City for a reason. It does have some issues as well in terms of public school education and things of that nature for minorities. It does have a big gentrification issue also. So I'm all for anything that's going to help those issues and solve those issues. But it is a start, of course, to look your past in the eye and say we were wrong here. I watched a video early today where there was some great words on the fact that these statues weren't all built, 200 years ago. Some of them were built in the 1970s. So there is a reason that they are being torn down, and it is about confronting your past and moving forward. Kind of a better late than never mentality.
The Washington baseball team before the Nationals was the Senators. Ironically, they have none. The list of proposed nicknames is long. Gentlemen, do you have a favorite, Grant?
To me, I do. And I would almost leave the logo and call it the Washington Americans. Because if you called them the Americans with that logo, it would be dignifying the image that you've had for a long time. That said, the one thing I would be sensitive to is I have heard people say to be a mascot in any form is hurtful. And so if that's true, then you change the logo too. But to call them the Washington Americans still with the Native American undertones, I think would be something.
Darien, very quickly, do you have one?
I do. The Red Tails, honoring the Tuskegee Airmen, which my grandfather was
very
one.
Good.
So
I had a couple I liked. Someone suggested the Washington Red and Blue. If we're ever going to have harmony in this country, let's bring them together. Just put a blue helmet on. The other one was the Washington Justice. Justice for all. They call the defense the Justice Department.
Gravity Smokehouse and Barbecue in Holt offers takeout, delivery, and drive-through ordering. Our brisket and pork is slow smoked in-house for 16 hours until it is melt-in-your-mouth delicious. Call or stop by today.
We're excited to open our doors and do it safely for you.
Amy's Downtown Diner in Perry is still serving their homemade meals. Stop in for takeout, order by phone, online, or get delivery. Amy's Downtown Diner in Perry. Go big or go home.
For a list of safety guidelines and restaurants who are reopening, go to fox47news.com/open. We're Open Mid-Michigan is sponsored by Modern Woodmen of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Things are tough right now, and many don't know where to turn for help, and that's why Fox 47 created the Rebound Mid-Michigan. From financial recovery to putting food on your table and much more, the Rebound Mid-Michigan is everything you need to get through these difficult times.
Catch up with The Simpsons, weeknights at 10 on My 47.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Tracking a Trophy segment, brought to you by the Ticket Machine at the corner of Mount Hope and Hagedorn. For the best in sports and entertainment ticketing, whenever those events resume, go to theticketmachine.com. Spencer Torkelson takes 3 swings, hits one to the wall in center, next one out, and then he hits a bomb. And that's what Tigers fans
first time that the Yankees are getting a chance to see Tanaka.
Now you see, whoa, Masahiro Tanaka taking a shot to the dome. And this comes off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton. I don't know anybody who hits a ball harder than Stanton. And amazingly, Tanaka seems to be okay with that. It's amazing to me that he escaped this kind of serious injury. Whose absence would mean more? Opening day baseball, if Tanaka cannot return for the Yankees, or if David Price with the Dodgers now saying, no thanks, I'm not playing.
I think the Dodgers are a deeper club. They've got more pitching, and I think Tanaka has been a better pitcher in recent years, and it matters more to the Yankees when he's on. So I think Tanaka would be a bigger deal. And frankly, I don't understand how anybody does this at the major league level. I really don't. When you see these guys take a hit like that, how do you come back from that? I got hit slow pitch softball on the shin a couple years ago, and I flinch now every time the ball comes up the middle. I don't know how you ever do it again.
Graham was on the 60-day DL for the shin injury. Darien, it's part of your contract with us that we have to talk pro basketball when you're here. So I want to talk a little bit about the teams that will be in Orlando when the NBA gets it together, and which league is more likely to produce a recognized champion by mid-fall, Major League Baseball or the NBA?
I would lean towards the NBA because it sounds like they're full speed ahead, all systems go, despite having some players test positive, some players saying they don't want to play. I think I saw today the Milwaukee Bucks shut down their practice facility due to some positive tests. They didn't say who tested positive, but it still sounds like it's all systems go for the end of this month. So I would lean towards the NBA just because they seem to have found a system that they think is going to be safe enough for the players to be able to go out there and perform. And it is up to their discretion whether they go play or not. Yeah. So it should be interesting to see.
Guys, can you each give me an NBA Finals that does not include the Bucks or the Lakers? Graham, you want to try that first?
Well, the Clippers are the easy pick in the West if you're going to go that way. And I think there are maybe, there could be another sleeper team somewhere. I like the Nuggets if they get it together or a few things like. But the team in the East that I kind of like in this scenario, that I'm curious to watch Boston. And I want to see what this Boston team is. I mean, this is a whole new season, so whatever momentum you had doesn't carry over. And I like this Boston roster before the season, so I'd like to see it now.
Darien, what about you?
Yeah, again, based on the stipulations right now, I would say maybe Rockets, 76ers. It intrigues me. The Heat intrigued me also, though, because the Miami Heat were playing extremely well. But again, like Graham just said, you kind of lose that momentum going into this. Whereas the Rockets can kind of chill in terms of playoff mantras that have been put on Russell Westbrook and James Harden, and just go ahead and play. And when you take two offensive juggernauts like that in a season like this, where it's all about, I think, will all be about scoring points. I can see the Rockets being a team to truffle with in the West.
You are the 9th and 10th people that we have performed this exercise with. And for whatever reason, I have not had any takers on the team that is second in the East, second best record behind the Bucks, defending NBA champions. They know how to win. I can't get anybody to bite on the Toronto Raptors.
They don't have a superstar. They don't.
And second in the East right now, ahead of all these teams with superstars.
I know, and the Sixers haven't been able to figure it out, and their roster hasn't really worked, and maybe they'll do something different a little now. Toronto to me looks like a really good regular season team that's giving it everything every night, while other people are sort of struggling through it and figuring it out, and I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Darien, can you channel your inner Kobe Bryant and tell us what the late Lakers superstar would be saying today to LeBron James, who's all in on this season, and Kyrie Irving, who leads the skeptics at this point?
I think he'd be proud of both of them. I think he'd be able to sit down with both of them and explain to them how both of their ideas, both of their ways of thinking can have positive outcomes. Because that's, I think, what he was always about. He was always about solving the problems and making sure that everyone was on the same page and that everyone was pushing a movement forward. So I think that he'd be able to sit down with Kyrie and say that the way you did this was great, and sit down with LeBron and say the way you're doing with this is great. And I've been on that train from the beginning. I don't think anybody's wrong in this scenario. I think two people can be right at the same time, and I think everyone on both sides of this actually are correct.
And if you gave Darien Harris 10 wishes for life, one of them might be to be in on that discussion. He would love to be there to hear Kobe talk about this. We'll be right back with Champions 2020 up next.
We are MEA, a foundation of collective strength, an advocate for education. K-12 educators, support professionals, and higher education employees, united to support our students, our schools, and our community. Together, we are the shield protecting every student's right to succeed. Michigan Education Association. Champions for education.
Want to get out of your lease? Over on Miles? Maybe you just want to drive something different. Whatever the reason, Shaheen Chevrolet will get you out of your current lease and into a newer model, usually for less than you're paying now. Even if your lease isn't with us, trade up and pay less at Shaheen Chevrolet, where you always get the lowest price on any new Chevy, guaranteed, or it's free.
If someone knew all your secrets and they could use it against you, would you let them into your home? Of course not. The problem is, you already have.
Every night is family night. Last Man Standing.
Weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30 on Fox 47.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
At Graf Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else: peace of mind. Every Graf used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at grafokemos.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graf Chevrolet in Okemos.
Uh-oh! No! Careful behind! Oh, no! This is great! This is awesome! What is this maniac doing? You gotta be kidding me!
Can I borrow your pen? Thank you.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Champions 2020 segment, brought to you by the Michigan Education Association. The MEA's members, educators from across our state, are proud of this year's high school graduates. Congratulations. Learn more at MEA.com. Athletes aren't the only one who've had to make sacrifices in 2020. Commencement speakers also a little different program, but thanks to the MEA, we have the opportunity to recognize 10 of Mid-Michigan's outstanding scholars through our Champions 2020 program. Tonight, you have a chance to hear from Claire Hips, tremendous student from Lansing Eastern High School. Claire, how are you?
I'm doing good, Jack. Thank you.
Well, we are excited to hear what you have to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Claire Hips.
It is hard to define the circumstances that we have found ourselves in, but it is undeniable that we have made our mark. Precedent has had no bearing on our outcome, and the members of this class are certainly creative, passionate, and talented. We've had many victories, perhaps too many to even count, but more interesting might be to examine our resilience and innovation in the face of insurmountable challenges. We have lost our last seasons, our musicals, and all of the traditions we thought would have made this all worth it, but we are perhaps coming away with a lesson that is far more valuable. The truth is that adapting and overcoming tough circumstances is what life is about. And although we did not get to experience our last traditions, we have still accomplished something truly great. We have graduated high school, and that accomplishment cannot and will not be diminished by anything. They say that life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you make it. And I know that with our high school experience that this class is ready to face any of life's challenges. Although there are a few predicaments as great and sudden as this one that we have found ourselves in now, it is likely the reason that our class will inspire strength for generations to come. It is true that our last day of high school was Friday, March 13th. And although we are all on the brink of new beginnings, I cannot help but hope that we all remember where we came from, because our circumstances change, with or without our readiness. Although high school may have taught us many lessons, whether it be about the importance of challenging ourselves or valuing those around you, I hope that we have, above all, learned that everything will work itself out. And although you are not maybe where you envisioned yourself a year ago, you are exactly where you are supposed to be now. I hope that my class will also remember that although it was a mere set of circumstances that brought us together, we are truly growing into extraordinary people as a result of our experiences. I know that we are ready to embark on this journey apart, but in a greater sense, still together.
Fantastic. Graham Couch is a proud product of the Lansing School District. What did you think of Claire's message?
Well, clearly she's from the above 3.0 category of people. I was the other side of that. So yes, no, impressed, very much so.
Outstanding, valedictorian, worthy. Claire, why is that such an important message for you to deliver?
Well, I mean, a lot of my classmates, well, personally I was a soccer player, right? And I also did a lot of spring activities. And so a lot of the people that I was around and that I had shared experiences with throughout high school, they were missing out on traditions that they were really looking forward to, you know, their senior nights, their last seasons, spring musical, stuff like that. And so more than anything, I wanted to speak to the people who are really missing out on their final things, you know.
Anyone you particularly wanted to thank or acknowledge for their help along your way?
Definitely. I've had some really phenomenal instructors, people who have showed me that academia is really important and something that I can really pursue throughout the rest of my life. Specifically my math teacher, Mr. Kreffman, and an English teacher that I had, Mr. Blakesley. Both of them very important people to me, and they've definitely shaped me and who I am today.
Your stay at Lansing Eastern obviously has set the stage for future success. Tell us quickly about your plans moving forward.
I am attending Alma College to study honors economics on a full ride. I will be participating in their Model UN program and writing for the school newspaper.
Fantastic. Hey, we need a good lawyer. We'll know where to find one after she's done with law school too. Congratulations, Claire. We'll be right back with our Cool and Smooth segment brought to you by Culver's. Up next.
The Ticket Machine is your local connection to concert, theater, and sporting event tickets nationwide. Our entertainment experts are ready to help you create a memorable experience, trusted by fans for more than 20 years. Whether you are looking for tickets for your corporate outing, family excursion, or vacation, we offer the best seats and the best prices. Grab a front row seat now on theticketmachine.com.
Sports give so many opportunities to kids. It gives them an opportunity to see where they fit within a team, persevere, understanding how to work with different personalities. Those are the lessons that will make you a successful adult. As a mom, you have to have an understanding of what concussions are.
Concussions are things that are treatable. If we take care of athletes, they will be able to develop and have a long, happy, healthy life.
At Graff Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else, peace of mind. Every Graff used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at graffokemus.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graff Chevrolet in Okemos.
It's an afternoon of non-stop laughs, weekdays starting at 3 on My 47. Fox 47 News at 10.
Giving Mid-Michigan their late news an hour earlier.
Making it easier to wake up in the morning.
Every night at 10. Know tomorrow's weather. Then get to bed. Everyone knows.
The best way to start your day begins the night before.
For over 20 years.
The only station with a primetime newscast.
Fox 47 News. Local news at a more convenient time.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's our Cool and Smooth segment, brought to you by the 5 Culver's locations in mid-Michigan. Since 1984, Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious butter burgers and premium frozen custard. Swing through any Culver's drive-thru and grab your fresh favorites. That's Culver's. Welcome to delicious.
My Rocket Mortgage Shop for Heroes is dedicated to the medical personnel out there on the front lines for us. Thank you for continuing to help in the fight against COVID-19. If you want to join me, take your own video and tag it with #ShopForHeroes and @Rocket Mortgage.
Pretty good form there from Mel Tucker on that chip shot. Graham, I didn't see that from you when you took those lessons from Brian Harris.
It's one of the more humiliating 12 weeks of my life. Thank you.
All right, Team 354, who has been as cool and smooth as a Culver's mint explosion this week? Darien Harris, what do you have for us with our play of the week?
Play of the week to me, or the one that I want to present, goes to Maya Moore and her successful ploy to get Jonathan Irons released from a 50-year sentence that he was serving, which was her whole reasoning and purpose behind sitting out last year's WNBA season and the subsequent ones from here on out as she fights racial and social injustice. If I look at Maya Moore's career, I would probably put her in terms of top 5 decorated basketball players, men's, women's, aliens, doesn't matter. In the history of basketball, her career is unbelievable, and she was in the prime of her career, and she put it aside before the virus to make social change. So hats off to Maya Moore. She's a true pioneer, patriot, and first ballot Hall of Fame human being.
Well, we know she knew how to win, Graham. Now we know she knows how to do some other things and get them done as well. All right, what about our team of the week? What do you have for us?
So Darien comes through with this really deep choice. And I'm watching we're all missing sports, right? And we're trying to I tried NASCAR for a minute, and I've never really been there, so I couldn't keep going with it. And so I'm watching the English Premier League soccer, and I like soccer. And today I'm watching Southampton, Man City. And you start rooting for the underdog. Southampton scores early, and they are hanging on for dear life for basically 75 minutes after scoring an early goal. And to win that game and see how much it meant to those guys, and they were getting shelled. And I've been on soccer teams that are hanging on for dear life for 75 minutes and you've got no shot. To win that game 1-0, and you remember what that's like in sport. And we haven't seen that in a while. And to me, it was the first time in a long time, a live sporting event, that I have found myself emotionally invested in it.
Yeah.
And that was a cool feeling. I had forgotten about it. So Southampton is my team of the week.
Well, that sounds pretty cool, and I might have actually enjoyed that as much as I don't normally enjoy soccer. I probably would have enjoyed that. All right. For our player of the week, I got a lot of choices here. I want to mention Makur Maker, 5-star center, one of the top prospects in the country, and he is committed to Howard University. That's right, Howard University, over UCLA and Kentucky, becoming the highest rated prospect ever to pick an HBCU program. Amazing, and some people are already saying, hey, wouldn't be surprised if Howard winds up making a deep run in the NCAA tournament. But I want to talk about the Rocket Mortgage Classic at Detroit Golf Club. Bryson DeChambeau, he drives the ball 360 yards, and he had the best putting stats, but he's strange, and I don't like him. But I do like the city of Detroit, and I love what this did. I love what Jim Nance did for the city of Detroit. I also love what Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage and Darien, and you know a little bit about that operation. Who's responsible for this?
Yeah, so Casey Herbis is the Chief Marketing Officer, and of course, Mark Hollis as well has got a great hand in it. For the time I was at Quicken, to hear about their passion for the Rocket Mortgage Classic was unbelievable, and I'm glad that the city of Detroit has it.
The 313 Challenge, talking about digital access and training for everyone in the city of Detroit. For Graham Couch, Darien Harris, see you next week.